Hey everybody, welcome back. JC Live Show, Free Speech Friday? No, it's Thursday. What the heck is going on, guys? What is going on? Well, before we get into the show, I just want to say the reason we're here today is because tomorrow I didn't know if I was going to be here or not. And I said, you know what? Let me do something on Thursday. So if I can't make it, I'll be able to hang out with you guys at least this week. So it's the end of the month. So we're getting to the end of not only a week, but the end of the month. And we're moving into February, which is good. It's a good thing. So it's been a kind of crazy week this week. I don't know how everyone else is doing out there. A lot of stuff in the news, a lot of things going on. We had AI that I talked about today. We had Mr. Zuck over there and his complete nonsense with banning Linux, basically. You're not even allowed to talk about Linux on Facebook. According to what I'm hearing, and I want you guys to verify this for me, I think he walked that shit back. Okay? I think he did. I think that it's no longer banned. So let me know what you think, because 80% of their servers are running on Linux. So I don't know, how do you ban Linux? I mean, it's ridiculous. The entire internet, 80% of the internet, 70, 80% of the internet is run on Linux. That's just how it is. So it's secure, it's safe, it's, and I think a lot of these companies like Zuck over there that are not charging for their service and require the service to be us, right? We are the service. We are that point, right? That's where they make their money. And if you're using Linux, it's a little bit harder for them to track you and to kind of, let's say, sell your information. It makes it a little bit more difficult. And I think they're not happy about it. And I think that's where I think there's some pushback on Linux. Anyways, I want to get into some stuff today. Obviously, the China thing is huge with the DeepSeek AI. If you are a member of the channel, all right, you were able to watch the video that's going to be going out tomorrow. You were able to watch it today. So I'll talk a little bit about it. So if you're not a member, you're going to get like a sneak peek tonight on what this was all about, but you'll be able to see the video tomorrow. It's about, I think, a 20-minute video that I did that you'll see tomorrow. Really interesting information about what's going on over there with China and DeepSeek, which is the equivalent to our AI models, like our ChatGPT by OpenAI, Meta, Google, whatever. And the thing is it's better. Okay, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. But I'll get into that also tonight. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about tonight, let me know. I do want to get into a couple of things that Elon Musk said and that the president said, and let me do this. Okay, I'm going to call bullshit on it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you know how I am. I try to be as unbiased as possible. And just because I like one side or the other side, I always try looking at things up the middle, and then I tell you what I think. And I base it on fact, not just my feelings all the time. A lot of it is on fact. So anyways, we are going to... we're going to talk a little bit about that also. But before we get into all this, let me say hello, because if Fav was here, obviously my beautiful wife isn't here. You get to see this mug. My hair is a wreck, so I threw a hat on tonight. Bear with me. So let's see. Mo, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. I see that you're still having some problems, Mo, with hackers or some kind of deal going on, cybersecurity issues. Send me over an email. Let me see if there's anything that I can think of that might help you out, Mo. All right, send me over an email. I really don't know anyone here locally that's a cybersecurity expert. I used to do the whole gray hat, white hat type of hacking. A little bit more when I was younger that was not so white or gray, but I've been doing this for a long time. So if I can give you some hints, tips, tricks, whatever, I'll do so. Once again, just email me. Hey, if you guys want to ask me a question of any kind tonight, put a @JCristina or put a Q before your question. All right, it makes it super simple. So when I look at the chat here, I can see it. It pops out in front of me really quickly. So let me see here. Who else is here? Ricky Joe, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Let's see. Fragile is here. Fragile and M. We have Joe. How you doing, Joe? Joe says, regarding DC collision, looks like DEI equals die is now confirmed. Yes. It's a hard thing to say, Joe. And it's a very sad day when you see, really good people perishing. And we don't know why. Why was this this Black Hawk helicopter, military helicopter in that specific airspace? Did the helicopter, go into the plane or the plane go into helicopter? I'm going to guess that the helicopter is either coming down straight or going up straight, and the plane probably hit it. I'm going to guess because, helicopters are not moving that quickly for the most part, unless they're trying to get from point A to point B. It's usually, but I don't really know. But yes, when you start getting into this DEI thing and they're hiring people that should not be hired because of their race, creed, color, whatever, their sexual orientation, which I don't even know how it even matters. What you do in your bedroom doesn't really help me or hurt me based on my business. So you need to hire people that are good for your job, whatever that job is, whatever that business that you have. And when you hire people that are not good for the job, that stuff is going to happen. You just can't just hire people just for just any reason. It has to be the best of the best. It doesn't matter. They could be blue. I'll hire blue people. That's fine. Who really cares? As long as they do the job. So yeah, that whole DEI thing, just obviously it's done now, thank God, but it could have played a role in it. And I think we will find out in the not so distant future, were people there that shouldn't have been, or were they running skeleton crew? That happens too. You start, there's a lack of funds. You can't hire as many people. You have a third of the number of air traffic controllers in there that should be, and you end up with some people that are extremely tired, and shit happens. So we don't want to see that. That is absolutely horrific, absolutely horrible. Ricky Joe, how are you doing today? It says feels like a Florida again in 60s. Yes, and tomorrow in the high 82. Yeah, so we got hot again here in Florida. I mean, I like the cool weather. I just don't like it like in the 20s, 30s, but I like cool weather. I mean, I would like, I personally love California weather. You go into certain areas of California where it's 72 degrees in the winter and it's 72 degrees in the summer. I think that's freaking awesome. That's just cool, literally. But yeah, that would be nice. That would be really nice. But yeah, we don't have that here in Florida. In Florida, it's hot, hotter, very, very hot, and then a small amount of cool. So let's see. Ricky Joe says, I was at Big Lots today. They were huge going out of business sale. No crap. I can't even believe it. So many of these companies, gaming mouse for only $5 is amazing. Yeah, there's so many companies that are going out of business right now. They can't hold on any longer. They just can't. The economy is in the trash. And, hopefully things start turning around. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Let's see. Dutch Linux, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Cowboy John 88, thank you. Tim, let's see. Low Tech Greg, how are you doing tonight? Tom is here. Renee is here. Carl. Let's see who else. I'll go back up to the top, check out any questions. Honey Badger, how you doing? William, thank you for being here. Wayfaring Stranger is here. Thank you for being here. Who else is here? If you're watching, put an emoji in there. Put something. I can recognize you. Say hello. And once again, if you have a question, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. That makes it really super simple. Super simple. So yeah, it's Thursday. I figure it's going to be light today. We're not going to have like a ton of people, but it's okay. It's okay. I wanted to hang out with you guys before this weekend. And like I said, I didn't know if I was going to be here or not on Friday. So let me just start out with something here. And then we're going to get into the evil behind the Facebook deal and how they were shadow banning and banning Linux stuff. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to get into the China thing with their DeepSeek, which I think is just amazing. I definitely want to jump into that. But I want to start out with something a little bit more controversial, and then we'll get into the more easy listening stuff. This kind of stuff I really don't like talking about, but you know what? You kind of have to, because if you're going to, be unbiased and do the whole free speech thing, you have to be able to talk about everything. And I ended up doing research on X, and I used Grok to do the research. So when I was looking things up, I was actually using their platform over there. And so this is what ended up happening today. Trump went on True Social, and he said this. He said, I have just asked Elon Musk and SpaceX to go get, in quotes, go get the two brave astronauts who have been virtually abandoned in space by the Biden administration. They have been waiting for many months on the space station. Elon will soon be on his way. Hopefully, all will be safe. Good luck, Elon. Okay. So, this is a channel about SpaceX, about Starlink, and I do videos on this stuff all the time. So when I read that, I have to call bullshit, right? So, matter of fact, I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to throw the bullshit meter up, okay? So Elon comes back on X and he says this, quote, the president has asked SpaceX to bring home the two astronauts stranded on the ISS as soon as possible. We will do so. Terrible that the Biden administration left them there so long. So, I know a lot of people will be like, well, that sounds okay. It sounds right. But if you've been with me for a long period of time, you know that I've done videos on this. So what did I do? I went back and I researched this. And sure damn enough, I did a couple of videos on this. So on July 16th, okay, I did a video. It was called SpaceX Rescues NASA's Boeing Starliner Crew, right? And in there, I speak about what the problem is. Why is it that they're being stranded there? Why can they not come home on the Starliner thing? And Boeing basically said, look, there is 30 different reactions going on. There's 30 different problems. And a couple of the problems, number one, is we have a helium leak. And number two, our reaction control system, or RCS, is failing. It's not working. You need that RCS thrusters to be able to manipulate the spacecraft to come in at the exact angle. If not, it'll burn up in the atmosphere, okay? Because the bottom of it has all the heat shielding on it. If it comes in nose first or even at an angle, it's going to burn up, okay? It's not going to work. So though that RCS system has to work. If it doesn't work, they will perish. So they said, listen, we're going to leave them there for a period of time. We're going to let them, this was once again on the 16th of July. We're going to leave them there. And we're going to see what the problem is and see if we can fix the problem to see if we can return them. This is the first mission, the very first time that the Starliner flew astronauts to the ISS. So then I did another piece. This was on August the 26th. I'm getting to the point, guys. Hang in there. All right. I know I'll be getting kicks and everything, but it's important to me. It says SpaceX rescues Starliner crew. Boeing humiliated. That was my piece, right? That's what I spoke about. It says former military test pilots, Mr. Wilmore, 61, and Miss Williams, 58, were the first crew members to use the Starliner when they left for the ISS on June 5th. June 5th is when they left, right? And what I found out at that time and what I talked to you guys about was this. Steve Stitch, NASA's commercial crew program manager, quote, said, there was just too much uncertainty in the prediction of the thrusters. There was just too much risk for the crew. And so we decided to pursue the uncrewed test flight. In other words, they were going to return that craft unmanned, just in case. It says NASA's associate administrator for SpaceX operations said, quote, for me, one of the really important factors is that we just don't know how much we can use those thrusters on the way back home before we encounter a problem. Like I said, those thrusters are mission critical or it will burn up. Starliner will undock from the space station unmanned, right, without crew, and in September and return to Earth for a landing at White Sands or another location. blah, 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 blah. Then, this is what's very important, right? The Dragon Crew spacecraft will return as planned in February 2024, or 2025. Dragon Crew. So back in August of 2024, right, on the 26th, they stated that the crew will be picked up, okay, by another Crew Dragon vessel in February. Now, next month, okay? They stated this 6 months ago, 5 months ago. They stated this. This was the plan, right? This was the plan. They actually sent a crew there, light, 2 astronauts. So they sent 2 astronauts instead of 4. And the reason being is so they can have that ship to come back on, right? So they have 4, they had extra suits and all the rest of the stuff, right? This was the plan. So the point of the matter here is when you read stuff like this, and you hear from the president, you hear from Elon that, oh, you know, we're going to go and rescue them now because I got orders to go rescue them. It's a bunch of bullshit because this has been planned ever since August. All right? Actually July, but ever since August 26th for sure. So this is nothing new. Now, that being said, there is a side note to that. And once again, I always look at both sides, okay? It's very, very important. And what ends up happening is when you hear the news media, they just go and they just go down the one line. They don't look at both sides of anything, you know? They're very myopic. It's like this, right? Tunnel vision. What the Biden administration could have done, told NASA, said, listen, let's go ahead and commission Elon over there to send up the Endeavor, the Endurance, the Freedom, or maybe even the Resilience, because they have other Crew Dragons that they can use, and let's go bring them back. But the thing is it wouldn't be a rescue mission. They're not rescuing them. They're not dying up there, right? The problem is they're just there for an extended period of time that they shouldn't have been there. So instead of a 10-day voyage, they're there for like 6 months now, which is ludicrous, but hopefully they're getting paid time and a half. So the thing is they're not being rescued. They're fine. They're going to come back now this month in February, and this has been happening this has been known for quite some time. I'm getting kicks from Peter, and I appreciate that, Peter. Thank you. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention that yes, there could have been a means of getting them here sooner, but it's really a Boeing problem. And their piece of junk Starliner was the problem. And I think Boeing should have paid up to get their crew back sooner by paying up Elon Musk SpaceX to do so and use one of their others if they needed to. But obviously they didn't feel the urge to have to do so. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know so you get both sides of it, right? You don't just hear one thing and you just I hate that, right? So anyways, so you be the judge. What do you think about all of it? So anyways, let's go back up a little bit. Peter, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, it is Free Speech Friday, but it's Thursday. So anyways, let's see. Let me go and say hello to a few more people before I forget. And then I go on to another topic here. Tim. How are you doing, Tim? Thank you for being here. Dutch says over 80% of the world runs on Linux. That is 100% true. That is 100% true, Dutch Linux. That is true. Let's see. Tom says the DC plane collision wasn't held by understaffing. So it wasn't held by understand. My son was an Army air traffic controller and said that the FAA guys are working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week because they can't find people to do the job. The air traffic controllers, I remember now, you tell me if I was wrong, because I had a really close friend of mine that passed away. And we used to fly all the time. And he was with the CAP, Civil Air Patrol. And we used to go on missions and whatnot. He would take me out. We would do like drug missions just to see what's going on off the coast of Florida, because we're in Florida and there's a lot of drugs running in here. So anyways, I digress. But he was telling me how it's very, very, very tight when it comes to how the FAA schedules the workers. right? They are only allowed to work so many hours and they have to take a break. And so many hours they have to take a break. Kind of like a truck driver. A truck driver can't just drive for 16 hours straight. They can't do it because they have to log it. They have to have that thing shut down so every X number of hours. The same thing with the air traffic controllers. They can only work for so much. And when we see Tom saying here, look, they're working 10 hours a day for 6 days a week, that is ludicrous. It shouldn't be that way. But like he's saying, they're looking for people, right? So it is what it is. Renee says DeepSeek gives a lot more. It really does. Yeah, I'll get into the DeepSeek thing. I think it's very interesting, that whole DeepSeek thing. Tom says money talks, bottom line. And mismanagement. Could be, yeah. Tim, hey from San Antonio. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Let's see. Ricky Joe says, do you know how long it normally takes for Facebook to fix a game? Royal Story has been down since last Thursday. I didn't even know that, right? I didn't even hear that. Sometimes I'll get stuff in my feed, like things like that, but I didn't hear anything about that. Interesting. No, I do not know how long it takes. It's Facebook. I mean, if it's not urgent and if it doesn't affect their bottom line, it's going to take a little bit, I'm sure. Let's see. William, hello from NW, Northwest Florida. Thank you for being here. Honey Badger, once again, thank you. Let's see. Tim says, no-go, watch the video, aircraft and final, and the helicopter collided with aircraft not from a takeoff, but from behind. Interesting. Yeah, that makes, it's horrible. What are they doing in the same airspace? So close. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Renee says, plane being brought down by helicopter in the city. Yeah, no, that was definitely not how it went down there, Renee. Cowboy John 88, 100%. They need the right people at those positions. They absolutely do. They do. There is a lot there. I think there's a lot of these DEI hires that are going to be DEI fires in the not so distant future, because if they can't do the job, they need to go, right? But what will happen? I'll tell you right now. What will happen is the lawyers will get rich. Okay, the lawyers will get rich because as soon as they start firing these DEI hires, there's going to be lawsuits, and they'll say that they're being racist for firing them, whereas actually they were being racist for hiring them. But people didn't look at it that way. There's always I always say this, right? There's always two sides to every coin. People just don't look at it. I don't know why that is. It's like to be discerning, to be thoughtful. You kind of have to look at everything. It doesn't mean that you're going to be right every time, but at least try to look at all sides of things. And they just don't. It's crazy. Scott, how you doing, Scott from South Carolina? Says we'll see 74 here tomorrow. 74. Wow. It's getting warm. Considering it's now it's going to be beginning of February here coming up, the end of January. You would think it'd be much colder. Very strange, but maybe the cold will come back. Let's see. Mo says the irony of the global economy is in the trash everywhere. It really is, for sure. How you doing from Portugal over there? I can't pronounce your name. What is it? Zexibolabiatata? I did my best. How you doing from Portugal? Thank you so much for being here. Peter, thank you for being here. Peter gives me those kicks. I love the kicks. More kicks. Let's see. Says can't stop is my work day. I hear you. Feel lonely. These are for you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know. Let me see. Once again, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Either way. Joni, thanks for being here. Tim says trash talk Thursday. Yes. Let's see. Michael, how are you doing? Let's see. Good evening, David. Nay Prado, how are you doing? I like the emoji. Love it. Love it. Let's see. So, Real Nikon Lover, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. It says SpaceX launching another Falcon 9. They actually are. They are launching another Falcon 9. Let me see here. Is this it? Oh no, this is the Starship. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah, I think they are launching another one.
The view right now, looking up from the camera on the second.
That's all right. Let them do their thing. But yeah. More and more Starlinks are being launched. More Starlink satellites. You can't beat that. It's just going to simply make our service better and better and better. And they're coming out of Vandenberg. Thanks a lot for that, Jim. Appreciate you. Appreciate it. Let's see. Renee, Lawrence. Thank you for being here, Lawrence. First Nation, Canada. How you doing? Thank you. George says Fuji GFX 102. Lover from Ontario. Awesome. Gotta love the Fuji. Fujifilm make that GFX medium format. Medium format is godly. I mean, if you're a photographer, or if you plan to be a photographer and you use like Micro Four Thirds, you use APS-C, or you use full frame, if you ever get a chance to rent a medium format camera, I encourage you to do so. If you don't mind getting extremely spoiled and wanting a medium format. They're not cheap, right? But Fujifilm, their GFX line is cheap for a digital medium format. But yes, George, absolutely love the camera. I did some Hasselblad shoots. Hasselblad sent me over, I think it was like $60,000 or $70,000 worth of gear to do a Hasselblad shoot for them. We did like we were on basically a deserted island, right? An island with no one on it off the coast of Miami. And we did this whole fashion shoot with fashion designer and whole 9 yards. It was a lot of fun. And funny thing is on that day was the coldest day ever in Miami, ever. This was like a few years back now, probably like 10, maybe 8 years, whatever. Been a little while. Coldest day ever. Those girls, they just suffered through it. It was a fun crew. Anyways, I digress, as I always do. Dutch Linux says DeepSeek is not without faults. That's true. Have tried it, at least not with GD script. So yeah, I hear that it does have some issues. So all right, let's jump into this DeepSeek. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that want to know, about this video. And if you are not a member, you will not hear about this until tomorrow from me. There's other people that have talked about this, okay? But DeepSeek is basically China's version of OpenAI's, ChatGPT, Meta, Google, whatever, all these AI models. And the thing is that all of our AI models, like for example, OpenAI was originally to be open. Hence, they called it OpenAI. Well, OpenAI is closed. That's one of the reasons why Elon Musk says, listen, I don't trust these people. I don't trust this guy. There's a problem over there, whatever. I don't like it. It's dangerous, okay? It's closed. You don't know what's going on. Whereas with the Chinese, DeepSeek is open. It's not closed, meaning that they gave the code out to everyone to review. That is, to me, baffling. I haven't figured that out yet, guys. All right. Maybe we will. We will. But anyways, so that to me was very, very interesting. But what's more interesting is that the guys in China, this think tank that made this OpenAI competitor, OpenAI, for example, was made, and all of them, Meta and all the rest of them, Google, it cost billions of dollars to make them, and it took years. And they had the best of the best of the best of NVIDIA chipsets. This Chinese company put together this AI that's actually performing in many instances better than all of the US-based AI. They put it together on $5.6 million. $5.6 million, not billions, $5.6 million. Okay, that's it. And it didn't take them years to do. It took them 60 days, 2 months, and they put together this model. And it's crushing it. It is absolutely freaking crushing it. This is something that the US really needs to take note of. And I can tell you the US populace that are playing the stock market have taken note of it. Because NVIDIA, for example, is in the tank by 20%. 20% they've went down over the last week or two with this whole DeepSeek nonsense. I mean, it is a big, big thing. And like I said, they are being handicapped too. So not only did it only cost them $5.6 million to make this AI, and they did it in 60 days, but instead of using the best of the NVIDIA chipsets, China is being sanctioned by the US, so they can't get the best of the best NVIDIA chipset. They're using an old NVIDIA chipset to do it. So with the old chipset, they still were able to make something, squeeze the hell out of the chips, but they were able to make this even better than what we currently have. So anyways, like I was saying, this is really, really something that I go into it a lot deeper in tomorrow's video. So once again, watch tomorrow's video. But I go into it a lot deeper. But it does an amazing job at doing this chain of thought reasoning. Chain of thought reasoning is really what allows it to do like really complex, multi-step problem solving, okay? And what is really cool about it is that it gives you this multi-chain, this chain of thought process. So when it gives you an answer to something, it doesn't just tell you like how to do something, it's telling you the why behind it and why it made the decisions that it made along the way. So you get a grasp, you get an understanding of things, which is really kind of interesting to be able to ask something to do it and it will actually do it for you. So anyways, that's the whole DeepSeek. I want to know what you guys think about this. Now, the problem with it is, and this is where, people be like, oh yeah, this is great. Let me go and install it. And the problem is that they found out that they are key logging. Now, what that means is that every single thing that you type, I don't care if it's a password, if it's your bank account number, if it's your credit card number, your social security, I don't care what you type, where you go, what you're doing, it's monitoring you and it's recording it and it's sending it back to their servers, and their servers are sitting in China, and the CCP and the Chinese Communist Party has access to it to distill it down, to see what's going on with you, with the general folk out here. Right? So it is definitely a problem. But what I also found interesting is that not only is it open source in comparison to OpenAI, it is freaking cheap. Now, when I say cheap, what does that mean? So if you don't know how AI works, basically, if you're going to use AI, you purchase per, let's say, million tokens, for example, or 100,000 tokens or whatever. A token is basically how you ask the AI question. So, what is the name of the first president? Well, that'll take like 6 tokens, 7 tokens, whatever. A question mark's a token too. Anyways, I digress. So for 1 million tokens from OpenAI, it costs $440. $440. So how much does it cost? That basically comes to, that's a lot, right? So now how much does it cost for this DeepSeek people? Not $440 for the million. It costs 10 cents. I'm not kidding. 10 cents for 1 million tokens. That's a 97% discount. So if you were to do 1 million for a month, it would cost you $44 with OpenAI. If you did 1 million for a month, right? 1 million tokens would cost you $1 with DeepSeek. Massive difference, absolutely massive. But the problem is that keyboard logging that it's doing and sending all this information back. So anyways, what say you guys? Is this something that you would try? Is this something that you would use, this DeepSeek thing? Bear in mind, and this is something from a security guy, right? Bear in mind that a lot of people don't understand that when they're opening a program on their phone, and they're done using it and they go and open another program and they don't see it anymore, right? My mom does this all the time. Then I go on her phone and I'm like, holy God. And I'm doing this and I'm closing app after app after app after app after app, right? Those programs are running in the background. And if it is running in the background, it could be doing keyboard key logging in the background of everything that you're doing, even though you don't even know that it's on anymore. So you have to be careful with this stuff. Really, really careful. And we can go a little deeper, a little bit darker, right? A little dark web on it and say, listen, there's malicious and advanced techniques. There's also persistent background services that can be installed and a lot of other things that I'm not going to get into that can be installed on the phone and on your device that will do the exact same thing in the background without you even knowing it, even with the program closed at that point. So once again, do we got any kicks? There should be kicks because that was a long-winded OpenAI thing. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this whole OpenAI, the Facebook version, your Meta version, your Google, in comparison to this DeepSeek? If you guys have heard of it or not heard of it, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? Let's see. Who else is here? We're getting back into the comments. Once again, if you have a question, put in @JCristina or Q before your question. It makes it easy for me to find. Let's see. Dutch Linux did say that DeepSeek is not without fault. It's true. It does do some amazing work with building code and checking code, but it's not perfect. But remember, it's 60 days young. It's not a 2-3-year-old model. This is literally, they just put it together. It's absurd. And the amount that it's able to do already is just baffling to me on a shoestring budget, on old equipment in such a short period of time. It's crazy. Let's see. Carl. How you doing, Carl? Carl says, have you ever heard of Phase 1 cameras? Absolutely. Absolutely. Phase 1 made awesome cameras. They're mainly used for commercial shoots. Yes. Phase 1 is great. I interviewed the CEO and the owners over there at Phase 1. I think it was, has to be like 10 years now, at least 15 years, I think. On Digital Photography Cafe. I used to go with Trevor Current. We had a show called Digital Photography Cafe, and we would travel the entire country, basically. And we would interview all of the movers and shakers in the photo and video industry, as well as the CEOs and all of the company owners and engineers from all the different manufacturers of the different cameras, as well as all of the other niceties, let's say, that you would purchase for your camera. So yes, I've got patents on different products that I've created, like the focus pyramid, autofocus lens calibration tool, the PRT, the photo reference tool, all of the Aurora camera care products. Those are all my products. So if you go onto Amazon, you'll see all that stuff. They're things that I have put together over the course of many years of doing photo and video. So there's a little background on me, right? Yes, H100. Sweet, Carl. Good stuff. Good stuff. Charles says, Sam says, the sole open AI closed source proprietary. Yeah, proprietary. So yeah, OpenAI is supposed to be open, and of course it's closed in comparison to the Chinese AI, which is open. So I'm going to venture to say that since DeepSeek is open, I'm going to venture to say that there's going to be a lot of the AI organizations, companies here in the US that will use their code in their code. I didn't even speak of Grok. I mean, that's Elon Musk's AI. And I think it's badass. There's certain things that open, ChatGPT does better. But then there's things that I like about Grok. If you guys haven't used Grok, go to x.com log in, and then you'll see like this little X with an I next to it. If you click on that, you'll be in the Grok page. Matter of fact, let me see if we can do that. Right? Why don't we do that? Let me see. Does this work? It does work. Is it there? It is there. So this is what right now we're on SpaceX's X page. Okay, we can see there's a launch here, something going on. Yep, this must be the. Oh, this is the Starship launch. This is a pin. Anyway, so if we come over here, do you see this little icon here? It says Grok. It has an X with an I. If we go in here, this is what it looks like. And you can ask it questions just like you would ChatGPT. Matter of fact, give me a question and we'll ask it. Give me a good question, a detailed question, and we'll ask Grok. Now, so in the chat, give me a question. Any question, something good, you know? Maybe what it thinks about, what does it think about DeepSeek? Let's see. Mo World says our Western government has key loggers through social media platforms. Absolutely. Yeah, there's, I trust me, I know. And that's, matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why Facebook, in my personal opinion, was trying to ban a lot of Linux stuff. They banned DistroWatch. DistroWatch is like a massive, DistroWatch is like where people go and take a look at distributions and see which ones they want to test out. And they banned DistroWatch. They banned people having conversations about Linux. They banned different Linux user groups. They banned all this Linux stuff, calling it that it's some type of cybersecurity risk. It's like, yeah, risk for who? A risk for you, for making money maybe. It's not a risk for the people using Linux. I'm using Linux now for like what? 6 months? Like I tell you guys all the time. My Windows is right here. This is where my Windows has stayed. This is it. Still dusty, right? Still dusty. My Windows has been here literally for like 6 months now. I have to look it up, the exact amount of time, but maybe 5 months, something like that. Never went back into the computer. I've been using Linux for everything all of this time and never turned around. It's still fine. You got to remember, Windows 10 is in its sunset period of time, right? EOL, the end of life, is here, meaning that as of, I think it's August 2025, Windows 10 will cease. There will be no more updates. That means it will turn into a virus-ridden nastiness where it doesn't get any security updates, doesn't get any patches, doesn't get nothing. At that point, either move to Windows 11, which I wouldn't do because it is a keyboard logger. It is horrible. It is trash in my personal opinion. Or move to Mac. You know, that's it. I mean, there's not a lot of options here. Let's see. Moving on. Richard says, "I'm not a token. I'm a free man." Encrypted key logging. Yeah. Yeah. Salt Walt. How you doing? Salty Walt. Log out when you are done. Yes. As long as they don't install anything on your device, you can log out when you're done. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Dutch Linux. Hold on. Excuse me. Low Tech Greg says the keyboard logger make it a not in my lifetime. Yes. No, I get you. I get you. You don't want something it's the same thing that Windows was trying to do, right? Windows was doing this thing where they were trying to incorporate that, what the hell was it called? What is it called? Restore? I don't know, something. Anyways, that nonsense, which would actually take a photo, take a snapshot of your screen every 3 to 5 seconds, build that into, I don't know what they built it into, and then distill it all down using your processing power, and then send it off to Microsoft. Are you kidding me? Really? So that's basically a keyboard logger, right? A key logger because, look, you're taking a picture of the screen every 2 to 3 seconds and then distilling that shit down. I mean, I think that's even worse. Yeah, so let's see. Moving on. Dutch Linux says, just do not log in to anything while you have DeepSeek open. Yeah. Or use it in different browser, or make sure that you have that browser completely closed off. Yeah. So my personal, what I would say is if you want to try out DeepSeek or anything that could have some type of nefarious nature behind it, I would encourage you to grab one of these, grab one of those, grab one of these, maybe one of these, a little stick, okay? Install Linux on it. It takes about 10 minutes. Install like a base model, whatever. Install Linux on it. And then once you have it installed, install Firefox. Firefox usually comes with it. Install Chromium if you want, Chrome, whatever. And then surf with this. Do whatever you want with this. You want to surf the dark web? It's fine. Do it with this. Okay? Close this down. And then when you're done, you unplug it. You delete everything off it, and then you reinstall Linux on it, which takes about 7 minutes, and now it's fresh. The other way to do it is you can do containers, you can do, VMs, virtual machines, and a lot of other things. But this is just super simple. You literally boot off this and then call it a day. Like I said, surf the dark web if you want, Go on to this thing if you want, and then not worry about it. Trash it when you're done. Easy. It's almost like a burner phone, right? A burner phone. Why are we talking about this hacking stuff today? What is going on? We could talk about hacking if you want. I could give you a little information on it. Let's see. At JCristina or Q before your question. Once again, it makes it easy. Richard says, Grok's my go-to for LMM. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. Come on, what do we have here? Do we have a question? Do we have something we can feed into Grok? Shannon, thank you so much for the 10 memberships, people. Gary got a free membership. Tina, Kevin, Don, Newport, Maria, and Marina got a membership. Who else? Kirk, I don't know what I'm doing, got a free membership. Too Many Hobbies Dad got a free membership. Joel and Mark, if you got a free membership, gifted to you by Shannon, please say thank you. Shannon, thank you for your support. I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once again, give me something to ask Grok here. Give me something to ask Grok. Let me see. Let's see. Here's a question. So, if Facebook thinks Linux is a security risk, when are they going to use Windows to run their network? I love that. It's true. It's a joke. I mean, it's a joke, Frank. I think, Frank Woodman Jr. put that question in there. When will Facebook start using Windows? They don't, and they never will. They can't run off Windows. You can't use Windows Server. It's insecure. It's a big bloated piece of shit. It's slow. It's a junk. It's always been junk. You're going to use Linux because you can build it however you want to build it. It's more secure. It's highly customizable. It's very low cost or even free. It just would make no sense. The entire, literally 80% of the web is run on Linux. That is it. And Facebook is run on Linux. So yes, it is an absurd thing that they did, saying that. I think they walked it back, though. But they were literally banning. If you put a link to DistroWatch, your comment would be banned. It would be gone. It's what the frick? Unbelievable. Whisper Snap says, I've been running Chrome OS on everything. It's just so simple and surprisingly powerful. If you know Linux, absolutely. Good stuff, absolutely. Salty Walt says, which is the best LMN? They all have issues. They do have all issues, and you kind of have to know. It's kind of like, do you use a flathead screwdriver or do you use star? Do you use, a hammer, or should you use the back end, of a wrench? It just depends. There's a tool for everything, and each tool kind of works a little bit differently. So if I want something that's a little bit more relaxed and I have a question, I will ask Grok and it's going to give me kind of a cool answer. Whereas if I ask OpenGTP, Chat GPT, then OpenAI, it's kind of a little stiffer. It doesn't have the same feel. It's the same thing if you go to, Google and you go to Facebook or whoever you use, Meta. each one of the LMMs they're a little bit different. You kind of have to know which one to use, in my personal opinion. Use the right one that resonates with you. Gary says, why does China's spaceship look just like SpaceX's? Hey, you know what? Let's ask Grok. Why does China's spaceship look just like SpaceX's? Oh, man. It says the similarities between China's emerging spacecraft design and SpaceX's Starship can be, I love this, attributed to several factors: common design principle, technological inspiration, global space race, historic precedent, economic and practical considerations, and public and media perception. There's a whole bunch of information. You can see it in there. I always love this stuff. You know what? Let's see. Are you smarter than? Let's see. DeepSeek. Let's see what it comes up with. The question of whether one AI is smarter than another is complex because intelligence in AI can be measured in various contexts and by different benchmarks. Here's how the comparison might look on available information: technical tasks, general use, innovation and efficiency, and user and expert opinions. So yeah, it says, given these points, neither AI can be definitely labeled as smarter across all domains. DeepSeek might excel in areas like technical tasks and efficiency, while other models might have strengths in different areas like conversational breadth or user interface. My capabilities are designed to provide helpful, truthful answers with an outside perspective on humanity. But the smartness in AI is multifaceted and depends greatly on the specific application or task at hand. I like that Grok says, and he highlights here, that it is truthful. Very interesting. Truthful. I like that. So, yeah, I love asking Grok. So this is the kind of thing, you just don't know what you're going to get from these, LMMs. Like I said, pick the one that works best for you. I like Grok. I think it's kind of funny. It's kind of a little bit witty, but when it says truthful, it does do a lot of weighing both sides of things and doesn't just focus on one side. Whereas I know, like if I go into certain LMMs, they're very left-wing-ish. And then you go into other ones and they're push a little bit more right. And Grok is pretty center. It is pretty center. Anyways, if you want me to ask some more questions to Grok, let me know. I love it. I think it's funny. I think it's definitely funny. We should have like Grok and have like DeepSeek talk to each other. Just have them like have a conversation. So, what do you think about me? What do I think about you? Well, what do you think about me? Just go back and forth. Carl says, "Who's the best LLM today?" There is no best, obviously. It's just the best one for you, specific, really. What is that? What kind of gummy bears? Oh, how many gummy bears I eat in one sitting? There's a question. See what it says. Can DeepSeek be forked? What kind of license does it have? i.e., is it open source? My understanding is it's open. Now, open source, but by what means, I don't know. But they gave the code out. So could it be forked? I would say, yeah. You could probably fork, DeepSeek. The thing is they're going to, remember, this DeepSeek is 60 days old. It's like an infant in comparison to the rest of these models that are like years old with billions of dollars and the best, GPUs on the planet, from NVIDIA. So Yeah, you could probably fork it, but you're going to have to get the code continuously, right, to be able to make all those updates as they come through. Do like, I don't know. It to me it'd be a headache. But yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. You'd have to read that open source agreement. There might have some some information in there that would make it so you can't. Ricky Joe says, JC, you should ask it how much money Microsoft is going to spend when they buy TikTok. That's it. That's a question. So, this is from Ricky Joe. Ricky Joe says, let me see. I'm going to put estimate. How much money will Microsoft spend when they buy TikTok? Let's see what it says. It's probably going to say that we don't know if it's really going to be bought yet. It says estimating the exact amount Microsoft would spend to buy TikTok involves considering various factors, including the valuation of TikTok and specifics specifics of the deal, like whether it's just a U.S. operations or global, and the current market conditions. So it would have to look at initial evaluation estimate in 2020. So the TikTok was valued at 10 billion to 30 billion. 10 billion to 30 billion. Then it says the global valuation of TikTok at that time, and this was in 2020, was estimated around 30 to 50 billion. So that was in 2020. We're in 2025. So it says the high estimate down here, it says up to $100 billion, considering the full global operations with algorithms included, especially if there's a bidding war or if TikTok's market value in the U.S. has grown significantly due to its user base and cultural impact. So your answer is probably anywhere from about $50 to $100 billion is what Microsoft would have to spend if they were ever to purchase TikTok. I love it. Good question. Thank you for that, Ricky Joe. This is what Grok says. Is Grok right? I don't know. Could be. Let's see. Moving on. Question from Carl. We got to that one already. Going down here, vice versa. Okay. Question if, okay. Frank says, we already got that one too. Moving down here. Thank you once again, Shannon, for those memberships. Peter, thank you so much. Peter just gifted 5 memberships, 5 free memberships. Let's see, Garcia, Ken, Woofy, Jerry, and Dirty Bird. If you were any of those 5, right, say thank you to Peter. Say thank you, Peter. Really appreciate you. Really helps out the channel a lot. Let's see. Moving down here, Whisper Snapper says Facebook portal device runs on Linux. Yeah, they all run. All this stuff runs on Linux. Shannon says I went to bed Thursday afternoon and woke up Friday evening. Wow, Shannon. Were you drinking much? That's crazy. Went to bed on Thursday and woke up on Friday evening. Yes. Richard says, place your Optimus pre-orders now. Man, I would love to have an Optimus robot. Would that be awesome? Fabiola, my wife, won't have it in the house, but I'll have it out in the studio, right? I'll have Optimus wandering around. I'll be like, hey, Optimus, what do you think about this? And just let him talk, right? Just talk back and forth. I don't need him to do shit. Just to stand around, look cool, and talk to me. And just have conversations back and forth. I would like that. Maybe sit down and play chess with Optimus. Probably have my ass handed to me, but it would be kind of neat to do, right? Let's see. Dutch Linux says just a virtual machine is easier and you don't have to reboot or dual boot. Yes, it is. Absolutely. A lot of people aren't very, they don't want to get into virtual machines or, running things like that, but it is easy to do, right? But yeah, virtual machines is a good way to go. I like the idea too of a pen drive just because it's on a stick. You format the damn thing, it's wiped out, and that's it. The same thing holds true with a VM. As long as the VM is bottled up, pardon the pun, bottles, bottled up well, and it's not bleeding, I'm okay with it. But sometimes you have to open up ports. There's things that you need to do so that the VMs work, and then all of a sudden now you have a means of getting in. That's why I just install something. If you're going to go on the dark web, I wouldn't even do a VM. I would simply just make a stick, a burner stick, install, something like lightweight, like an MX Linux, or it's something really lightweight. Just use that, delete it, reinstall. Literally 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let's see. Moving on, Mo says, Shannon, welcome back. How's your holiday? Oh man, I don't think Shannon was on holiday. I think trying to make some money, selling some stuff, working hard. I think Shannon working hard. But then was, I think, went on a cruise or something. Went away for a little bit. So I guess it'd be some holiday. You gotta have you have to work and then you have to have fun too. Then work and then have fun. If not, it just gets boring, right? Low-Tech Greg says Windows 11, and no, I can't turn it off. Let's see. Moving down. Dominic, Dom, how you doing? 3 cheers for Shannon. There you go. Thank you for that. Free memberships, Rumboy 7426. Yes. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Peter. Really appreciate you guys. Let's see. Moving down here, it says called AT&T to cancel my internet because I'm moving, billing me $60 because what? Because of the months left for the contract. They asked me if I wanted AT&T cell. What the heck? But this is what these companies do. That's matter of fact, that's what ends up happening with people that are trying to go to SpaceX Starlink. I hear them. They send me email all the time. They're like, look, I'm stuck on Viasat. I'm stuck on HughesNet, whatever. And they won't let me out of the contract. And I still have 8 months with these people. What do I do? I'm like, you're kind of stuck because once you sign the contract, you're kind of, and they know that. The thing is the writing's on the wall, okay? HughesNet, Viasat, they are going out of business, okay? They are going out of business, period. So, you might have to hang out with them just for a minute. Wow, Shannon, thank you so much for that super chat. Holy shit. It says, I don't see not one pink poop emoji in the chat. Get on it, folks. In answer to your question, I haven't been able to sleep since I got back from my travels, so I took a gummy about 4 hours ago and crashed. I woke up, saw you're live, and was honestly confused. Wow. Yes. Yeah. My son, he has sometimes a hard time sleeping, and he takes those what are they, melatonin or whatever, those little gummy things, and they work out pretty good for him. There's other ones out there too. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that, Shannon. Thank you. Look at all those poop emojis coming out from that super chat. Thank you. Let's see. Let me see. Question. Do not ask me this question. How's the bathroom coming, Joe? It's not. This weekend would be a bathroom weekend, but I don't know. I might have to do some other things this weekend, and I might have to wait until the following weekend to do the bathroom. Sadly. Not so sadly. Just don't tell Fab. Carl says, wait. That was a question for Grok, and it was me who asked the best. Oh, okay. There you go, Carl. Yeah. So Grok basically says, listen, the best LMM is basically the one that is best for you. There's a bunch of reasons for it, Carl. A bunch of reasons. William says the membership's on roll tonight. Yes. Real Nikon lover says sounds like WEF double speak. Jim says take the jab. It's good for humanity and it works. The jab was oh so effective. What's going on with that guy? You know? That guy, the little dude. Safe and effective. Safe and effective. Safe and effective. Yeah. What's going on with him? What is going on? Ask Grok a latency calculation. All right. So give me, let's see. What do we want to ask Grok? A latency. Let's ask Grok something having to do with latency. All right. Here we go. Let's ask Grok this. Here we go. Let's start with this. What is the current latency on average for SpaceX Starlink in the US? Let's see what it says here. Okay. What is that? What is it around? There we go. 48.5 milliseconds to 33 milliseconds. Okay. So it has that baseline. Now, those satellites, let's see, are located at 550 kilometers. If Elon Musk, SpaceX, Starlink satellites were to be lowered to, let's say, 450 kilometers, what would be the difference in milliseconds? Let's see what it says. Now, I know the answer to this, and I did this calculation myself because I'm a nerd. And it's about 2 milliseconds, like 1.9, let's call it 2 milliseconds. There's some math, guys. There's a whole shit ton of math. Round trip. What is the round trip? How many milliseconds for round trip? 1.8 milliseconds times 2 would be 3.6 milliseconds. That would be at that 550. Then at 350 would be 1.7 milliseconds times 2 would be 2.4 milliseconds. 2.34 milliseconds. There you go. Like I said, the difference would be 2 milliseconds. So there's a latency question. The current latency, if you were to get, let's say, 30 milliseconds latency with SpaceX Starlink, and they're currently at 550 kilometers, if they were to be lowered, which they are going to be lowered to 340, actually, not 350. I just put that in there. 340 kilometers, we're going to get about a 2.34 millisecond lessening, right, of latency, lowering of latency. So let's call it, instead of 30 milliseconds, will be 27.7, 27.6. Let's just make it 28, round it up. So we'll lose 2 milliseconds just for losing 200 kilometers. 200 kilometers equals 2 milliseconds. So there you go. Latency question. Love it for Grok. Grok pulled through, and I know the answer to that. That's why I know. I was waiting. I was waiting to see what Grok came up with, and he pulled it off, because that is absolutely 100%. Because you're using the speed of light for calculation, the 299,000 kilometers per second, speed of light in a vacuum deal. Anyways, I digress. I should be seeing a bunch of kicks right now. I know Fab would have already kicked me for going down that rabbit's hole. But it's fun, right? It's fun. I love doing calculations. My son hates it. He's like, Daddy, why do you like math? I'm like, I went through geometry and calculus, trigonometry. That was, I was always, I enjoyed, algorithmic equations, I was, algebra was like, okay. I really enjoyed geometry. And the reason being is I like imagery. I'm very pictorially based, right? I get concepts. And if it's a mathematical concept, I will distill it down into a picture just so I can see it. That's just how my brain works. Some people work with numbers. Some people work with images. I work with images. So anyways, but my kids just didn't get that. I don't know. They have a hard time with math for some reason. Let's see. Frank says, question, ask Grok if he thinks AI will be a good thing for mankind or if it will be a threat. Question. Provide a one paragraph short response because I know this thing will lose its mind now. All right. It's a good question, though. It is a good question. Let me flip back over. It says, let me see. Do you think AI will be a good thing for mankind, or if it will be a threat? Let's see what Grok says. I told him one paragraph. Don't go forever. It says that AI has the potential to be overwhelmingly beneficial for mankind, enhancing our capabilities in medicine, education, environmental management, and daily life efficiency. However, however, like any powerful technology, it also possesses risk. It poses risk if not managed responsibly. This is what Elon has said with OpenAI. Anyways, including job displacement, privacy invasion, and the creation of autonomous weapons. That's a problem. The key is whether AI will be a boon or a threat lies in our approach to its development, regulation, and ethical use, ensuring it aligns with human values and societal well-being. So there you have it, guys. That's some good shit. That's good. That is really good. I mean, that's a decent answer. Like I said, Grok has a pretty good time with figuring out like conceptual stuff. And I think that's a overwhelmingly neutral answer, right? Neutral answer. Ask Grok if aliens are visiting Earth. Frank says, ask Grok if he thinks AI will be up. Let me see. Do you think, let's throw that one more down, and then we'll go on to some more questions. Do you think, this is from, who is this from? This is from Dutch Linux. Do you think aliens are, let's say are or have visited Earth? Let's see what it says here. Let's see. The question of whether aliens have visited Earth or are currently or present specifically lack definitive proof. There you go. There's no proof. Scientific perspective, UFO sightings, governmental and military, and of course cultural and history claims. So there's no definitive answer on that according to Grok. If aliens have visited in the past or are right now visiting. Mo says, when will Elon Musk launch Tesla Pi phone? All right, one more question. You see, this stuff's fun. I'm going to put estimate. When do you think Elon Musk will launch a Tesla Pi phone or any phone? Let's just put any phone, just in case. We don't want it to be too specific. Let's see what it says. So it's looking at 11 posts, a whole bunch of websites, all this stuff. Estimating, it says Elon Musk statement. It says, as of the latest statement, Elon Musk has explicitly denied plans for a Tesla phone multiple times, with the most recent denial coming in late 2024. He has stated that Tesla isn't developing a phone, but could reconsider if there were significant issues with App Store policies from tech giants like Apple and Google. And this statement is 100% correct because I did a video on this. And what he actually said during a live game session, he was streaming Diablo 4. He said, listen, I'm not going to do a Pi phone. I'm not going to do a Tesla phone or any other phone because we have bigger fish to fry. But if, like he stated here, Grok stated, if I'm forced to, because of now when they say apps, App Store policies, what he was referring to during the gaming session is that if they were not to let free speech type of apps like X and whatnot on the platform, he would immediately make a phone. That's what he stated. So kind of interesting. So yeah, they got it. He got it right. Like I said, I did a video on that. And the only reason I did is because I was watching. I do that sometimes because I'm a nerd. I'll watch Elon play video games, not for the video game, but more for the commentary. He's very relaxed, and he'll say shit that he normally won't say on live. And, because he's just like shooting it, right? And it's really interesting to me. It's interesting because you'll get like a lot of like behind the scenes things, and you'll get just uncalculated raw answers to questions, which is really cool. Anyways, William says, hey, it's not Friday. No, it's not. Once again, guys, I might not be here on Friday. So I said, you know what? I want to hang out with you guys on Thursday just in case. Because I didn't want to go a week without hanging out with you guys, right? It's fun. Let's see. Moving down, there's a lot of pink poop. I love all the pink poop. Thank you once again, Shannon, for your kindness. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Moving down here. What's wrong with the poop emojis? If you have a question, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Let's see. Moving down, we see a bunch of kicks. Gotta love it. Shannon says, yes, special gummy. I'm not in Arizona. Yes. There's some special gummies out there. There are some special gummies. Let me see. Special for insomniacs. Viewers melatonin gummies. Yes. On the JC store. Guys, you know what I was working on? A few of you guys are asking me if I would put up like some of my artwork and some prints or whatnot. And I was working on a couple because I paint. I do drawing and whatnot on a iPad, the big one. And I was putting together a few. So maybe by next week, I'll have them online. I'm putting together some of them because you guys asked me for it, so I'm doing it. So hang in for that. And I'll put it on my store, and then people will be able to pick up like a small 8x10 or a big poster size too, which I think is kind of cool. I actually also have them. I have the ability to print on metal, which is really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a painting or a photo on metal, but the iridescentness of the paint coming through, and when you shine light, it looks cool. It looks cool. They're not cheap, but it's definitely cool. Anyways, I digress. I'm working on that. So watch for it. Maybe by next week. Well, Word says the difference in milliseconds is 1.9 milliseconds instead of 1.9 millimeters. Yeah, it's milliseconds. Let's see. Ricky Joe says, question. It says there is one way out of a contract in HughesNet and Viasat. You just change the cancel. You just change or cancel the card that you got on file, and you return the equipment. That's a good thing. That's true. So I suppose if you have a card on file, and let's say your card somehow gets canceled, they can't charge you anymore. And if you send the equipment back, now they'll be like, no, we don't want it back. We want to charge you forever. You're like, no, I sent the equipment back. So yeah, it's probably a way to do it. They might try to put you to collections for the balance of it. If they want to be real schmucks, they could. But they're going out of business already. Okay, they need all the money they can get. So I don't know what will happen there, but it's a good thought. Mo World says, I always hated algebra. It says you work with your vision. Yes. It's because I'm an artist. Like I've always been an artist, like, a creative. But I went to 3 schools. I went to school for a computer science degree. I also went to school for child psychology. And then I also went to school for commercial art, advertising design, and video production. So I have so I'm a painter, illustrator, but I can write software in assembly code. So it's like I'm kind of in the middle, right? Usually some people are one way or another way. I kind of, then again, I'm ambidextrous, so I can kind of do things with left hand, right hand. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just how my brain works, I think. I don't know. But then again, I got that ADD shit too. Not the ADHD, but the ADD. So my focus is just not, I'll just go off on tangents. You guys don't realize that, do you? That I go off on tangents? I do it all the time. That's why when Fab's here, she kicks me because I go off on tangents. Scott says, they say using AI can help identify early cancer from blood samples. I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. There's a lot of things that AI, that's the thing, you know, people always look at the bad on stuff, you know, the things that are done, the evil side of things, you know, the stuff that like Fauci does, you know, the evil things. Okay. But the good, you know, you can use AI for good. Absolutely. For, you know, finding, you know, answers to cancer questions, to what branches of DNA control certain things, because it has the ability to go through so many billions and billions of options. If you guys don't know it, Elon Musk's farm, when I say farm, I'm talking about like a data center farm. His farm has over, I think it's 200,000 NVIDIA GPUs now. I think it's 200,000. It was originally 150,000, and he was shooting for 300,000 GPUs. I think they're at like 200,000 GPUs in the farm. That's a lot. So it can go through billions and billions and billions of calculations to figure out things that it would take us years to figure out. And that's one of the reasons why they're kind of fearful too with encryption, is that the encryption that's currently being used by our US government and the military, that encryption can be broken by a foreign AI, not in years, in minutes. And they know it. So there's a lot of hardening that's happening right now to fortify things based on the understanding on how powerful AI will be in the not so distant future, and is already. So there's a lot of that going on too. Do I need to say ET home, phone home? Christopher says, yes, ET phone home with like the finger. Yes. Let's see. Mo World's talking over there to Scott, moving down here. Once again, if you have a question, put a Q before your question. Let's see. Let's see. Andrew says, have you tried Lemon 5? No, I have not. I have not. Where's the wife? Wifey is at home. No wife today. Sadly, you'd have to look at this mug. She is not here. She's getting ready, but this weekend is going to be a little bit busy for us, and she's kind of in preparation, right? So let's see. Life and Death, how are you doing? Life and Death, how's it going? Life and Death is here. Fast way to end wrongful, let's see, collection calls. Just tell the collector this is a false claim. And you are putting them on notice to cease and desist all future attempts to contact you. That's the law. Life and Death, I didn't know that. There you go. So basically, a collector calls, you say, listen, this is a false claim. We're currently putting you on notice to cease and desist all future attempts to contact you. There you go. That's the law. But is it the law in every state? Is it a federal law or is it a local law in your state? That's always the thing. And that's the problem with law, right? Law is kind of like belly buttons. Every state has one. I don't know, but there is just so many laws. And like when you go to California, and the law is completely different than laws in Texas, for example. Let's see. Renee says, question, and then fortify for quantum. Yes, exactly. Exactly. The entanglements. So yeah, quantum's going to be a big thing. You know, the idea of quantum computing, you know, it's been around for quite some time. It is a thing, but you know, the way it's talked about sometimes is just so ridiculous. But because people, put the word quantum in front of anything, and then all of a sudden it's like something more than it is. But I'm not going to go into that. Let me see. Life and Death says, Joe, the question is, can you write with both hands at once? I cannot. I don't know. I have not tried that. I'll have to try that. That's a good question. Writing maybe the same word. I think I can, actually. I think so. I think I might be able to do that. I'm going to try it. Maybe, and if I do and it works, maybe I'll throw on like the top-down camera, and I'll do it. I'll like write something. I'll have to tape the paper down so it doesn't move. And I'll just write something with both hands. Yeah, I like think also like mirror image, which is kind of weird. Like, so if I look at words, I can see what they look like, but reversed for some reason. I can see them backwards. It's kind of weird too. I don't know. Let's see. Mo says we can blame Nixon for opening trade talks with Crimea. Yeah, it's there's a lot going on right now with this whole, with the new government in place, the new president, everything that's going on. We got a lot happening, and honestly, guys, I'm there for it. I'm here with my popcorn. I'm going to watch, and if something pops up that I feel like we should talk about it, I think we'll talk about it. Just like today at the beginning of this live, I talked about the point that Trump said that, Elon Musk, he told Elon Musk to go and rescue these astronauts. And it's just a bunch of BS, And so I hope you guys can appreciate that. I do align more with one party than the other, but I'm very thoughtful on both sides. It's just a lot from one side I just don't agree with at all. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do look at every side of it. And this right here, I had to call bullshit, with the statements made. So, and that's what we talked about. So if you guys just came recently, rewind, go back to the beginning of the video, and you'll hear me speak about it. Let me see. Any last questions? Let me know, and then I'm going to get out of here because I've been going for already an hour and a half, and I try to keep them as short as possible. When Fab's here and she goes through the questions and we're hanging out, sometimes we'll go a little bit longer, but let me know if you have a question. If you want me to ask Grok something on the way out, let me know. We'll ask Grok, and we'll tell him to keep it pithy so he doesn't go and do like me and go on and on and on with the run-on, because that's what he'll do. He'll just go forever. So yeah, if you have a question for Grok, let me know. Let me see. Let's see. Life and Death says federal law, Joe. I didn't know that. Consumer credit laws. There you are. See? Should have been an attorney. Every state has a belly button. It does. Let's see. Ask Grok if we evolved as a species. Huh. So let's give it a better question. Okay, so rewrite that, Scott. Right? Evolve. Maybe evolve from apes. Evolve from protozoa. What like make it even more specific, right? Let me see. Fragile NM says, ask Grok to generate an image. Can be Ernie. So Grok will generate images, but they're usually complete crap. But we can do that. Give me an image. Give me an image for Grok to generate, and I'll have him generate one. Mo World says, blame the last guy and blame the present guy, and I'll blame the future guy also. Yes, why not? Here, Renee says, ask Rob, where does free speech end? That's a good, you know what? I like that. That's very to the point. Okay. I'm going to put in your opinion. All right, let me see. Let me flip back over to Grok. In your opinion, right? We're going to get Grok's opinion here. Where does free speech, because this is important, end? Question mark. I'm going to say keep your answer short. There you go. Free speech ends where it directly incites violence, threatens individuals, or spreads deliberate falsehoods that harm others. Free speech ends directly where it directly incites violence, threatens individuals, or spreads deliberate falsehoods that harms others. So the caveat to those four premises is that harms others. That's his point. So free speech ends where anything harms others. And he can put whatever he wants in there. So incites violence, threatens individuals, deliberately puts out falsehoods. So there you go. Don't harm people. That's where free speech ends, according to Grok. Good question. I love that question. See? And I told him to keep it nice and short, and he did. Didn't go on and on and on, because he'll go on and on. Trust me. Like me. Let's see. Honey Badger says, hey, Fab. Have a good weekend. I don't see Fab on here today. She must be working, doing stuff. Let me see. Ask Grok to generate an image. Okay, we'll got to give me a good image to generate. We evolved as human species through industrialization. So, yeah. Let me see. Is there evidence that we've evolved from ape? Right? There you go. Keep your answer short. Is there evidence? It says yes. Interesting. Yes, evidence includes DNA similarities, fossil records showing evolutionary. Yeah, interesting. And comparative anatomies. So there you go. According to Grok, yeah, we come from apes. I know not everyone's going to believe that, but then again, we do have a lot of people that believe, and I'll do a show, and there'll be someone come on and say, listen, those satellites, those aren't real. Okay, what you're saying is just basically falsehoods. Those satellites are actually balloons that have equipment on the balloons. And they're not actually being launched. That's just like green screen. That's just nonsense. Rockets aren't being launched. We have never left the planet before. And that's what people, there's like the flat earth people, and people believe that, And when I tell them, listen, balloons are not on, the satellites are not hanging on balloons, buddy. Right? There's no balloon that could be at 550 kilometers. It's just not possible. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, but we get some crazy people sometimes. Let's see. The theoretical parts get hairy, but should Elon be able to make a personal recovery parachute for astronauts? Elon, you're slacking. So life and death. A personal recovery parachute. The problem with that is how do you, like if you're an astronaut, okay, and you're in LEO, low Earth orbit, let's say, or you're in space, any distance in space. On re-entry, you're going to burn up. So it doesn't matter if you have a parachute or not, you're going to burn up. So I don't care what suit you have on, it doesn't really make a difference. So now, having a parachute on another pod, like a pod, which is what they do already, and then land in the ocean. Yeah, that's possible. But an astronaut with a parachute, no, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. So, anyways, guys, listen. It's Friday, supposedly, but it's not. It's our Free Speech Friday. I'm gonna call it. I just want to say thank you to everybody. I really do appreciate you all being here, hanging out, just hopefully having a little bit of fun, doing as we do on a Friday night, but on a Thursday. It just makes it, I just figured that if I can hang out with you guys on a Friday, that would be okay. But I just couldn't. I just have a feeling that it's going to be a lot going on. So I'm like, well, Thursday it is. So thank you so much for being here, hanging out, talking all this stuff, asking me questions, and hopefully having a little bit of fun before the weekend. If you guys, if I don't see you on tomorrow, definitely watch the video. If you are a member of the channel, matter of fact, there's a lot of free members that went out today. That's from both Shannon put them out there, as well as Peter put out some free memberships. I think there was a bunch. I think it was like 15, 20, whatever. There's those free memberships. If you are a member of the channel, you are able to watch that video that I put out today, which will go live tomorrow. If you're not a member, then tomorrow, right around 9 a.m. or so, you will see a video that I speak about DeepSeek. Check that video out. It was a lot of fun putting it together. There's a lot of good information in there, and it gives you a little bit more detailed thoughts on what I think about this whole AI thing and what's going on and how it's going to affect the U.S. and the U.S. economy and the U.S. stock market and the U.S. in general, military and so on and so forth. So definitely check that out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. We will see you next week. Have a great one. Take care. Have a good weekend.